um, mostly because of myself going to a new job, uh, all the things that are involved with that, and being too lazy to get this going again. So I do credit my wife Tanya with putting a deadline on me 2 weeks ago to get it started again. So we're very happy to be here. I hope everybody is doing well and enjoying life. Uh, Getting ready for the the next thing. I think the monkeypox was already over with, so we're getting ready for the next thing. I would like to welcome for our interview this evening, a good friend of mine, Jay Michael, here with us. Um, Jay is a local guy here that Jay and I, we've known each other for about 10 or 12 years.
Man, I used to go see your band when I was 17.
Oh,
many moons ago. Yeah, and slip up in there. Yeah, but I don't know if we ever met, And yeah, so then we've been in this, but I've known of you since then.
Since the 80s.
Yeah.
Since the Gutter Sharks days.
Right.
Well,
exactly.
Now you're giving both of our age away.
Yep.
So, all right, but we're very glad to have Jay with us here tonight. Jay and I are working on a new project. I'm so glad he called me out of the blue a few months ago, and it just so happens that I have some time to be able to invest in it, and we're going to talk about that later. But first, we're going to talk here to Jay. I've got some questions for Jay,
cool,
and we're going to kind of take a step through a couple of them here.
Hey, thank you for having me here, and I'm glad to be here. It's a deep breath.
Dynamite. Very glad to have you. Mm-hmm. All right, let's go from the beginning here. Where are you originally from, Jay?
Well, I was born in Stillwater, Oklahoma, and we migrated down here pretty quick. I was about 1. Yeah, so I've grown up in Baton Rouge.
In Baton Rouge, okay.
Yeah, most of my life. I lived a couple other places in San Francisco for a minute later in my late teens in Austin, Texas, and I don't know, a few different places, but home is Baton Rouge. Yeah.
Oh, right. Mm-hmm. Well, you've definitely lived in some interesting music places. So.
Yeah, that was why I went. Go to San Francisco. I used to play in a band in high school called Shattered Image, and the bass player moved out to San Francisco, and I went and stayed with him, and found a job and got into a scene, and came back, got my stuff, and moved back to San Francisco and did my thing for a while. Mm-hmm. But Stevie Ray Vaughan was a thing in Austin, and so I went to Austin, Texas for a minute and absorbed, so that's what it was with the music in the early days, late teens, early 20s.
Yeah. Well, dynamite.
A lot of blues influence, So let me tell you. So I started out in high school. I was kind of I'm a Beatles guy. I like the Beatles, and so we were playing that kind of stuff. And so there were a couple other guys in the band that did punk, and so we got, we moved into the punk and kind of Beatles feel of things. It's called Shattered Image. Split Image turned into Shattered. And then after that, I went into a punk scene. Mm-hmm. And so I played with a band called Lost Parade. And we kind of formed on Chime Street. There was a cool place. Man, I think today, combined effort, I think, was the deal. There were a lot of punk bands that kind of played around there.
Well, there was especially
the Bayou, of course, all that, the library.
Yeah, all those places there that we got to see some incredible bands come through.
Amazing.
Mike Watson, Minutemen, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That you wouldn't think that you would get to see and hear in Baton Rouge.
Yes.
It was definitely a great spot.
Interesting time period.
Yes, very much so.
So there was one gig we were booked for the library, and they put it in the paper. It's like a featured that week, whatever, one of the shows. But actually, next door at the Bayou was Better Than Ezra's first performance.
Oh, wow.
And they were sold out. They had people all down the street. So we roll up in a car. You were kids. We roll up, and get out. But there was a line to our show because there was overflow from the Bayou to the library thing. And so our show was sold out. And that was kind of an exciting thing. But at the beginning, and it got, but I did the punk thing, then kind of got into the blues, Jimi Hendrix, Bradley. And so then that became another chapter. It became another chapter. It was like so I started hanging out at Tabby's Blues Box and Bill Brady's, and I became 18 at some point, and that was the drinking age, whatever.
Yeah.
And maybe a little bit, I don't know. Anyway, so so I started taking in the blues, and it became that. And then I had a band called Catfish Blue, and then there was the Lowdown Showdown, and it was kind of like a Stevie Ray Vaughan trip for a while there. So that's the early days.
Yeah.
That's the beginning.
The
Formations.
And well, that's what I was going to touch on next. Early influences, and I think you pretty much have touched on that.
Well, but there's other stuff. So in high school, there was this girl, Donna. She was so cool. And it'd be great if she saw this. But she turned me on to 2 albums. B.B. King's Greatest Hits. She said, you got to just deal with this. And she said, Muddy Waters, Hard Again. And it's a thing with Johnny Winter being the producer and playing on it. And so I studied those albums and then went deeper. And local guitar teacher Stan Campbell was a friend of mine at the time.
Yes.
Yeah, and so he started, teaching me BB licks, or at least it showed me the way to get there in the pentatonic scale, the A major and all that kind of stuff. And so then I got into the blues deep and started writing, and then Eric Clapton and Layla Sessions took over.
Mm-hmm.
And I went off in that direction, and I was probably 23 years old.
Yeah.
And so, over the years, I'm impressionable. So I see people that I want to do that,
Well, I think as musicians and as artists in general, whether your format is painting, which and you also do, or music, you're experiencing these things, you're taking in all of this stuff, and your mind starts working. You say, I might like to try some of this. So I might take some of this from here and some of this from over here, kind of mix it together and see what happens.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's how it's done. We all, But if you go back to the main people that matter, it's B.B. King, it's Albert King, it's Freddie King. We go back further, Robert Johnson. I go into jazz. I love Louis Armstrong. There's a lot of people, and Dizzy. I like Tim and Bird.
Dizzy and Bird.
Yeah, that's the name of my goldfish, by the way. I got 2 goldfish.
Yeah.
Diz and Bird.
And the turtle.
And the turtle. Yeah. The turtle's named T.
And but one of my favorite Dizzy tunes is Night of the TV. I really did that, and there's some live versions on that with him playing several different cats, and you get a little bit different view of it every time you hear it, because he's got these different people playing with him at
different interpretations.
And you had brought up Stan. We may have to do a complete show on just Stan Campbell. How many guitarists did Stan Campbell teach in this town and influence in his life? I don't know if I can count how many.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
But just an amazing guy.
Yeah.
And I would not see Stan sometimes for 5 or 10 years. And I would hear in a club or at one of the casinos, "Hey, James." And I'd look around and be Stan Campbell with a guitar and an amp in his hand. "Hey, man, where are you going? What are you doing? Hey, we're playing tonight. You guys come by and hang out."
Yeah. I'd show up at a wedding, and there he is with his band.
Exactly.
Him and Don Grove.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, their band.
God, yes.
They were good.
They're incredible.
Awesome.
Incredible.
Well, I had the thrill of working with those two guys at a music store for a while. And they were guitar and keyboard teachers. Guitar guy at the store.
And what was that?
Ziegler Music.
All right. And you also worked over there with Tim for a while.
Oh, Tim Lawson. Hell yeah. Yes. He's a brother.
Yeah.
I love Tim. He's the best. Yes, indeed.
Look, folks, we are live here. So if anybody has any questions, you can type it in and we'll answer them here live on the fly. And concerning music or any local Baton Rouge people here, even if it's from 20 or 30 years ago, we probably know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
So give us a holler. All right, let's move on to something else. Who are some of the people that you did with here in Baton Rouge locally?
Oh man, a lot of people.
I know that's going to be a long list because
Yeah, well, I mean, we don't need to go through the whole list, but I'll tell you this. Like, this is a fun one. All right, okay. So, I discovered Jimmy, and I'm into Jimi Hendrix. At first, Jimi Hendrix freaked me out, and so I didn't know. Stan turned me on to it. He taught me Purple Haze, the intro lick. And so I go home, I learn it, and I start listening to Jimmy. There's so many effects, it's psychedelic, and I don't know, it just freaked me out for a second. And then, but it was in me, all right. So I kind of keep continuing, and then as I get, a couple years older, Jimmy just like takes over, and it's I'm into psychedelic music, I'm into blues, jazz, surf, and all that. So Jimmy was the shit. Can I say that?
you can.
Okay.
We
Okay.
unfortunately, you may hear me say worse than that.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Right.
We're okay.
Yeah. So Jimmy took over, and so then so I had this band, and we had bass player Ty Lou, who's fantastic. He was from a band called Livewire that used to do mutual gigs with us and stuff. And so Wynn became a great friend, and used to hang out quite a bit with brothers. And we got into Jimmy. And I remember this one day, it was pouring rain, and it was flooded in the parking lot. He lived in these apartments. And I rolled over there, and we were talking about just forming this thing. And I'm stepping through this giant water splash, and I get up the stairs, and I go in his apartment, and he's got Jimmy electrically playing. And we just sat there and absorbed the music. We kind of connected on the Tabby's thing. And so anyway, we formed a band called Catfish Blue, and we started playing. The name was after a Jimi Hendrix song, Catfish Blue. So, and actually, he covered somebody else. Yeah. So we have Catfish Blue. We're rehearsing. We're trying to get ourselves together. We got a lot of songs, and we got it together. So we had one night, we're rehearsing. And after rehearsal, we turned on the radio and turned on the LSU radio station, KLSU.
KLSU, yeah.
Yeah. And there was a battle of blues bands at Tabby's Blues Box going on. And so we listened to a few songs, and, we were kind of hanging out and doing our thing. And after a minute, we were like, dude, we could maybe, present at this competition. So they urged me on, and I called Tabby. And Tabby answers the phone at Tabby's Blues Box during the thing. And I said, hey, man, I told him who I was. And I said, look, we're blues, but we're funky and rock. And we want to do this if we can do it. How long does this go on? He's like, man, it's fixing to end, like, within, 30 minutes, an hour, something like that. He's like, if you get over here quick, you've got a spot, the last spot, and we'll see what happens. All right. We had just had practice. We were confident, and we were doing blues, but Wynn is a phenomenal bass player. We were very funky. He went to Berkeley. He's something anyway, whatever. So we go up there and we rocked it out. We played it. And so they said we won the Battle of the Blues Bands. Tabby had contracts on the board. He signed us up to be the house band. So you asked, who have I played with? It's interesting, that thing. Dude, so many people came through Tabby's, and we were the house band.
Yeah.
And of course, Henry Gray.
Yes.
What a hero, man. And he played with Howlin' Wolf, you know, and all these cats. And as I developed, and Chris Thomas, man, Chris Thomas King now, you know, and Troy Turner was there, and there were all kind of people coming. The Neal family was coming through, and
Rudy Richard.
Rudy Richard, man.
Larry Garner.
Oh, let me say, Guitar Kelly, Silas Hogan. These guys are the old school cats.
Yes, the real older guys.
Yeah, and I mean, Kelly was there every week. I'd go there and I'd be there for the jam. We were the house band. If there wasn't anybody to play, we were going to play. You know? And dude, people came through. There were some interesting characters that came through that period to see Tabby's to play.
That's right, because you could meet people that had actually recorded and then all over. And not to mention, not to forget Silas's son, Sammy.
Sam Hogan.
Who plays all over now.
Talk to him often. Go see him at Bill Brady's.
Yeah, fantastic guitars. Fantastic guitars.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, dynamite. Great. We've actually played with a lot of the same people. Matter of fact, the drummer, Justin Beard, who is going to be.
True, brother.
Who's going to be, Justin, if you're watching, going to be one of the interviews. Get ready. As an incredible drummer.
Yep.
When is the next time that you host the Blue Jam here at Phil Brady's?
It's actually Justin Beard's birthday, July 21st.
July 21st.
Yeah, so we're going to be at Phil Brady's on July 21st.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, we've been recording some stuff, you know. Justin, James, and I, and it's gonna come out soon. You know, we got a few things. We've been, you know, I'll say it now. It's cool. The name of the band is The Windows. Yeah, and so look for The Windows coming out. Near future.
In the near future.
Yeah, probably in August. We're going to start coming out and going to get our thing.
We're going to touch on that here in a minute, because I do have a question about that. Who are some of the cats that you're listening to right now? And it doesn't have to be new cats. It can be old cats. What's making you happy right now?
Well, I would have to first off say Rival Sons. You know, they rock.
You turned me on to those guys.
Yeah.
Man, I've heard some stuff from them and I'm just totally blown away.
Yeah, they're incredible, and they inducted Black Sabbath into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But I think I was introduced to them watching another Rock and Roll Hall of Fame thing. I feel like it was 2011, and it was Deep Purple. And I feel like the dude from Deep Purple, Glenn Hughes, he used to play bass with them, but he sang in the early mid 70s. And I feel like he was singing and they were playing, but I'm not positive. But I found them in you know, somewhere around 2011, something like that. That's one of them. But you know,
well, I know there's a couple that you laid on me that we're actually thinking about maybe covering.
What are you talking? Oh, Free.
Free.
Yeah.
Free.
What's the name of that song? That's so cool.
Trouble in Double Time.
Trouble in Double Time. Oh, so cool.
Also, them Crooked Vultures.
Oh yeah, man. Hey. Yes.
And
them Crooked Vultures. By the way, that dude plays this guitar.
Yes.
He plays one of those. There's a few of them. Yeah.
We're going to talk about
I don't
that.
mean to jump ahead, but yeah, I love them Crooked Vultures. No, I'm thinking of Queens of the Stone Age. That dude plays.
Who is also
part of the Vultures. Yeah.
The Vultures. Yeah.
Right on. Yeah. Yep.
So there's definitely some there are some things that affect you. There's new things. Unfortunately, sometimes I don't know. I'm trying not to be the old guy that I am, but I'm not hearing as much, with the exception of a very few bands, which I think the Rival Sons have knocked it out the park, that have come along and they're doing stuff and they're energetic and they're soulful and they rock and they come out and they just light the stage on fire. And unfortunately, in the time that we're in right now, the rap thing is very huge. I'm not taking away from rap. Evidently, they're doing well. They're selling records.
Poets. They're poets.
Yes.
Some of them.
Yes. But I'm talking about people who perform and who play music, who have went through years of practicing in their room by themselves and playing with other people and practicing with other people. And all of a sudden they're an overnight success, even though that they had to work at it for the last 30 years.
It's the new thing. It's the internet. It's Instagram. It's fucking.
That's okay. That's okay.
Like,
it is a different
Facebook.
world.
Yeah, it's a different thing.
It's sometimes can be so foreign for
it is
for
different.
older cats.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But watch for the windows because we're gonna be on.
Yeah, that's true. Jay is
We're gonna do it, man. That's what it is. You gotta work it on the internet in this day and age because you can, I've just seen it in different areas, different people, and how they do it in different scenes. And it really is that, it really is. But you can get your stuff out there quicker. It's a whole different scene. Record companies and the whole thing isn't necessary. People are doing it from their house.
exactly.
And they're getting the views and it's people relate. So
That's what we've been doing with the things we've been recording at your house.
yeah, we have. It's home recording.
It is something for me that was a bit alien at first.
Me too.
I should say maybe for both of us.
Yeah.
Because I come from a time where in the studio it was tape.
Mm-hmm.
So everything's recorded on tape.
I kind of like that. I kind of like the tape.
I do too.
But I like grabbing my phone and laying an idea down too.
Yeah.
Instead of finding the tape and the recorder. You know what I'm saying? I'm not, that's the most simple form, but I know what you're saying.
Well, it would still be great to be able to do that. And when you're ready to record, have
nail it down.
That tape machine to be able to do it.
Yeah.
There is magic that happens. If you don't believe about that, well, then you need to watch the biopic about Dave Brule and him buying the soundboard from the LA studio that recorded, oh my God, how many hit albums did that place, Sound City, record?
Makes sense.
Right. And it was an old machine. It was tape. There is something audible, and I don't know if it's just older cats that do it or what. When I'm listening to stuff, when I was younger, especially listening to albums, I could almost tell you what kind of bass the guy was playing.
Right.
Now with digital stuff, sometimes it's a little confusing.
It's altered. They alter it with
a lot of processing and everything.
Processing.
Exactly. Yeah. So it can be a little bit confusing. All right, let's go on. Let's now talk to you about some of your gear. And we have a piece right here. Why don't we start with your guitar, because that's kind of unusual. I have not seen anybody here in town play jazz.
I've had a lot of guitars through my time. I really have. Because I'm always wheeling and dealing and finding different things. But this thing here, I don't know. The thing that led to this was a Jaguar I had a few years ago. And I really enjoyed it. But I like a lot of guitars, I like hollow bodies too and that kind of thing. But this right here is a Jazzmaster Fender, and I think this is my guitar. I think I should have been playing this all these years. It has a bridge that's incredible. It just has this reverberation from it. It gives overtones, which would make sense why Sonic Youth uses it, with the feedback loud,
Well, And we were going to talk about some of these people that use it. Sonic Youth, Rick Ocasek, Elvis Costello,
Elvis Costello.
The Ventures.
The Ventures, that I when I was young, I got into the Ventures. I don't know how, but probably Walk Don't Run, and I think Stan Campbell. He turned me on to one of these songs, but I know my high school band played Hawaii Five-O. Da, 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 da,
Right.
Go
Yes.
too far. All right. And so, yeah, but we played that, and so I was into surf. I was into all that. I'm so into the Beach Boys. I listen to Beach Boys today. I listen to Don't Worry Baby, Good Preparation. Anyway, so that, surf guys were using this guitar in the beginning. It became kind of an alternative thing. Dinosaur Jr. Was using it. Rick Ocasek, like you said, for the cars.
Yeah.
So it's
Elvis Costello.
Elvis Costello.
Uses one all the time.
I think the way I totally relate to it is it's a Fender, so it has a warm mid tone on the bottom side of the mid, somewhere in there. You can adjust it, but that's what it engages with natural. It feels like that's the natural place for this guitar. And then it has a Fender thing, but it has this overtone that's amazing. And I saw another one at a music store in town lately. It's there, it's used here. And I checked it out, and I was really like, I could use a second one maybe. I checked it out, and they solidified the bridge. I don't know how you say that, but whatever. That's what they did. They hammered down the bridge, and there was a button, but I thought you could release it, but it wouldn't. And so I'm not interested. The whole thing on this guitar is this right here for me.
Yeah.
This whammy and the springs, and when you get the sound going, I use at the moment, I have a couple amps, but the main one is a Paul Reed Smith. It's a 2-channel H, is what it's called, and it's a great sound between these two. I got a couple pedals, and so this thing here, I just feel this sound, even if you're not using the whammy. This thing here, it's got this haunting overtone of a feedback. Some people don't want that. They don't want that at all.
No, because they find it hard to control.
Hard to control.
Yeah.
Me, I feel like I'm riding a wild horse. It's like that. It's like we're friends and we're doing something in this guitar. And it feels like, I know songs and I'm going to play them. This guitar is going to throw me some thoughts, and I'm an artist, so I corral those thoughts into my vision of the moment.
Exactly.
That's pretty much it.
Now, and I know there is one particular pedal that has influenced you from a particular artist. Why don't we talk a little bit about that?
Okay. I'll tell you about two.
Let's do two of them.
Okay, the first one that I love, I got this in high school a long time ago. It's a little silver Boss pedal and digital delay. They got a few different ones, different numbers. But the delay I had back then, I really dug. I learned how to use it. At the time, U2 was out, The Edge was throwing out these echo vibes and this whole thing.
It's just a master of delay.
Master of delay. I feel like that's, I'm a left-handed guy, but I play right-handed. So as I was kind of forming my style, I used the delay to be creative. Because I am an artist, I also paint and draw, write, and do all kinds of things. And so it's about the project. And so with a delay, I can create stuff. So this digital delay now, to me, I have a few of them, and also messing around with some tape delays. I don't know where I'm going to fall out on it, but I do get tape delays.
The tape delays, some of those are magic.
They're great, and who I go to for that is Steve Miller Band. When Fly Like an Eagle, some of his live performances, he would do. It's just so beautiful, and so sometimes I love Steve Miller. He's one of my guitar guys that I go to, and songwriting guys, and I think he's a cool person. I hung out with him. He's really cool. Anyway, so the delay, when you're doing your, Anyway, it's a beautiful thing. Second thing I've been messing with lately is the sound of maybe Jimmy, but also Robin Trower and Bridge of Sighs and Two Rolling Stone. You know, he had all these songs. He's fantastic. I actually hung out with him too. Yeah, here in town, and I do posters and the artwork, and so I sometimes met some of these guys at venues that they play at, where I promoted stuff. So like Robin Trower, he talks about using modernly, and he's still with us, and he
It's still fantastic.
still fantastic. He's a blues rock guy from the '70s that is. And so I've kind of checked them out. And there's a full tone drive I like for my distortion. He has a full tone a vibe pedal. That's pretty cool. A lot of different things. So I'm kind of, checking that out. I also like the guitar player in the rival songs. And AV's suggested some interesting things. So I'm playing around with being experimental with the pedals. And, right now we're forming this thing and we're songwriting and we're checking out sounds and we're recording and we're, absorbing. So that's what's going on right now.
Yeah, terrific. Let's see here. What do we have up next? Let's go to projects that you're working on, which I know some of because we've been getting together just about every Monday.
Yep, we have.
And working and recording on stuff.
Doing a few things here and there live. Yep.
And you have a vision for at least 3 right now, 3 separate albums.
Yeah.
We call them albums or CDs.
I got more than that.
But let's touch on this 3 right now and lay that out.
Okay. So chapter 1, the first one is called For This Day. And, it's kind of a bright spiritual message of getting through, and, it's a new day. It's you're thankful for this day. It's the whole thing. I meditate every day. I think about it. I'm pretty thankful for where I'm at right now. I'm thankful to my brother.
Yes,
And, sorry. But, and I'm thankful for the future and what's going on. So it's basically a bright, album, but at the same time, it's kind of a mid-tempo album, if I would describe it in tempo way. But there are some barn burners, and there's going to be some chill down things. It's blues based, but it's rock, but there's jazz. The second album that we're kind of working on, we got these songs. It isn't like it isn't here. It's done. It's like, and then there may be a few new things popping out, but it's called Innovative Park. And that's going to be a nighttime vibe, very colorful, and but a nighttime scene. And so it'll be a little more eclectic.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple songs that we got one on the Monkey. That's going to be one that's going to be on there. There's a few different ones. The first one, the first one's going to be like daylight, and the second one's going to be, kind of a nighttime street scene, vibrant, popping, people having fun.
Yes.
That's what we're about. It's positivity, having fun. Some reflection on this first album. There is going to be some reflection. And where we come in, as we as we get going through this nighttime thing. And come out of it, there's an earth vibe. It's kind of earthy, Maybe we do kind of more in a blues and acoustic-y kind of stuff, although that'll be on the other 2, that'll be in there. But this is going to be more bringing it down, and there's more after that. There's ideas, so we have songs.
Yeah.
In 2020, somewhere in that period.
I'll tell you what. Let's go back a little bit further.
Okay.
Because a lot of people here in Baton Rouge will understand this, and you can explain how this process has happened via the flood that happened in 16.
Oh yeah.
Which was pretty devastating, not only for yourself, but quite a few of us here in town.
Yeah.
Because it just affected almost all of Baton Rouge, with the exception of us closer here to downtown.
Uh-huh.
So why don't you kind of take us through what happened and how that affected you and got you started on this path?
Yeah. Well, 2016, I guess, was it August?
Yes.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And so things were going pretty good, you know. We were playing a lot, and you know, whether jams or gigs, we were playing 7 times a week, 6 nights a week, you know. And I was doing artwork during the day and the whole thing. I had an art studio at my crib, and that I'd been doing for many years. And then the flood happened. You know, I had to back up everything, back up guitars and amps and light show stuff, and just, you know, light everything. And I'm an artist, so I had all kinds of stuff.
And the record collection.
I had 10,000 records that went down in a flood.
Yeah.
I had a wood burn desk from the 40s. I wood burned a floral pattern into it. You know, I was going to glaze the whole wood thing with these different wood colors and stuff. There were so many things. All these autographed art, original pieces of artwork, and also family stuff, you know, of course, and you know, whatever. Yeah, photos and all.
And life.
And life, yeah. I felt like I died, but we came back. You know, we're here, and so that happened, and you know, it was floating around for a second. And then, you know, you got it together.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it was definitely, I can understand how difficult. We went through Tanya's mother's house that did get that much water. And of course, we still had to cut about 3 or 4 feet out of it.
Yeah, for sure.
My father's house was fortunate that they didn't get it. But there were just so many people here that from Baton Rouge over into Livingston Parish.
They said it was a 100-year flood.
Well,
I don't know, man. I don't know if it's happened every 100 years. I mean, that's even extreme, man.
Yeah, I think
the storm landed on us and kept raining, and then a river overflowed, and it just kept hitting different neighborhoods. I was fine at first, and then you know, it hits. Well, let me tell you. So from the goodwill and friends and beautiful people, you know, I got through, and so then rebuilt and got myself back together, and kind of picked up and got shit together, and got my gear, and you know, life. And so now it feels like we're back, you know, and we're kind of moving forward, and some of that shit we didn't need that we lost. I learned that, man. I mean, what was I going to do with 10,000 records? I love them. I'd love to pull them out right for you right now. You know, and say, hey, here's all Black Sabbath records, and this is the Japanese version of Paranoid or something, you know, whatever.
We could have a listening show here on the
it'd be fantastic. But at the same time, we got Spotify, man. If you're gonna have a flood, it's gonna take all your shit. I don't know. I've overcome it. There's hard feelings, of course, but at the same time, you know, but it's like we move on, right?
Yeah, and then we get through it, and then we get into COVID.
Oh my God!
And then we get into that whole.
Then the locusts. You know,
the murder hornets, monkeypox.
Oh my gosh! Geez.
But you started working on some of these originals that we're working on in 2020, correct?
Yeah. So around June, around this time right now, it's 2020. And you know what? For a minute, everybody was out of work and things were shut down. And I had a lot of friends at the time, and there was a lot of partying at first. It's what happened. We partied our asses off, but then I was like, hey, this is a waste of time. I'm out of work and we're wasting time. And I got a purpose. I got things to do. So I kind of like pulled back my own self. And I immediately changed a few habits that I had. And I started writing music. And I continued to do this from June till December of 2020. I wrote 30 songs and I recorded all the demo parts, bass, not through down drum machines or percussion or whatever, keyboards and, all kind of things. I played kazoo, I played whatever. Yeah, I threw it down. And I got 30 songs down in about 6 months. And so then we began refining them. And that was the beginning of a spiritual process, and there were all different influences for these different songs. It's very eclectic and different. And
you'll have to excuse us. Sassy is in the studio here and she's scratching.
the best dog ever.
Making some noise. So, we're sorry for the interruption. Thanks, Sassy.
I love Sassy.
Sassy.
Yes. I'm gonna write a song called Sassy. You gotta do a song called Sassy. She was itching her tail up. Yeah, so anyway, we wrote these songs, but the process continued, and so there were a few cover things I wanted to play around with. So we did some Little Feat stuff, Long Distance Love. I did Over the Bayou. And now we're doing The Birds, Roger McGuinn and Tom Petty with his band Mudcrutch.
And that is still my favorite version.
Oh, it's fantastic. Fantastic. Tom Petty played bass.
Yes. Yes. And also Robin Trout.
Oh yeah, I can't wait much longer. Yeah, we recorded this. We also had saxophonist Lazaro Nettles on that.
Yes.
And James, Justin, me, and Lazaro did. I can't wait much longer. There's this new song we're working on called "I'm Gonna Fly."
Yep.
I mean, I haven't told you, but I know you know that John James, guitar player around here, plays slide, has been playing around on it. Well, he came over the other day and he laid down some resonator. Yeah.
That's gonna be terrific.
Oh, I'm so excited. Yeah. Great. And actually, he's studying the song a little more, and he's going to come back in a week or so, the next few days, lay something down. But it's very exciting. He sounds great, and that's the J gang. John James, Justin, Jay.
Yeah. That's us.
Yeah. Well, we're calling ourselves the Windows. WYNDOW.
Yes. And there will be some forthcoming original music and some covers. We're looking forward to it. Sassy has made herself home there. Sorry about that.
Sassy is chilling in my guitar case. It's very smooth and cool.
Thanks.
Yeah, we got to get a video of this or a picture or something.
We're going to post a picture of that.
This is fantastic. Oh my gosh, Sassy.
She is a pretty chill dog. We had trouble with her when she was younger, fighting with her.
So. Oh
yeah. And they would.
What's Sassy's sisters?
That was Lily.
Lily.
Yeah, and they would be blood everywhere, and we'd have to take her to the vet, and it was a big ordeal. But now Sassy's an only dog, and she's actually learned to behave.
Wow, she looks very cool. I mean,
she's all right. Well, I have to say it's been absolutely fantastic to be doing this again. I have to thank, of course, my wife Tanya for pushing me in this direction, because my day gig sometimes is a bit taxing, and I can end up working sometimes 12 hours a day. And when I get home, my intent is getting ready for the next morning. And anything else I need to get done before I have to go to bed, because I'm up at 4:30 in the morning. So sometimes I can be
tired.
Frankie?
Tired, cranky. I can be a little bit unplugged, excuse me, from being able to do things I enjoy.
That's moods.
Yeah. And so I credit Tanya and also Jay for calling me here a couple months ago and getting the wheel rolling on playing some original music. I haven't been able to do that since 2020 when my last original recordings were with a good friend who ended up passing, Joe Tullis. His last album is Vessels, which is on YouTube. I think you can download it from Apple Music. You can catch it there. There's some incredible stuff. I met Stu Cole, bassist from the Swirl Zippers, who's a terrific, yes, a terrific guy. Stu, if you're watching, thanks again, because anytime we have a hurricane here, my phone rings and Stu calls and says, hey, are you guys okay? Checking on you, making sure you're all right. Checking on you and Kevin, and making sure everything's okay down in the swamp.
Yeah.
So it's really playing music has been for me an experience that is the best. The only bad things that have happened to me have been me shooting myself in the foot. You know, I have to say that I've met the best people, and I've had friends that I've met at the beginning of my career that I'm still friends with now. And one that comes up all the time is Tim Loss. Tim originally started to teach me bass because the bass teacher was not there for another month.
Yeah. That's crazy.
That's how I got.
Where was that?
That was at Warline's Music.
For sure. That's where I met Stan.
Yes.
Where
Stan taught forever.
Yep.
And taught, as we said before, countless people here in town.
Well, let me tell you, my sweet mom used to drive me up there to take lessons from Stan King.
Yes.
It was so awesome.
Now,
It was so incredible. And you know, it's a thing, you know.
my,
And us kids, we loved Stan.
oh,
You know, he was,
he
you know,
was
we were in our
just
teens and he knew everything. He could play, he could teach you jazz. He's teaching you Jerry Reed country licks. He's throwing down, you know, Van Halen stuff. You know?
Stan was just an all-around great person.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tim.
Yeah.
This is the guy that taught me bass, David Campo.
Oh yeah.
All of these older guys that accepted younger people in and said, "Hey, this is what you're going to do. This is where we're going to go from here."
Mm-hmm.
And what you're going to do from here is entirely up to you.
Up to you. Do your thing.
Yeah.
That was the beauty of it.
Yeah.
Everybody else was playing, you know, heavy metal stuff, and Stan was teaching me B.B. King and
Yes.
telling me do this. You know, you feel this. I can tell. You can do this.
Mm-hmm.
I was, you know.
Well, and
He
hey,
embraced us.
not that we're knocking on the heavy metal guys. Matter of fact,
No, I love that. Come on, man.
well,
I feel it.
we're talking about since we're talking about the heavy metal guys. There's still some of the old school stuff. I've never been a huge heavy metal fan, but I'm a
I've
great,
seen 100 heavy metal concerts,
I'm
maybe more,
great
probably more.
Iron Maiden fan,
Oh yeah,
and of course the Kings of the South and Terror.
and Terry.
Absolutely one of the most incredible heavy metal bands, and also an offshoot of that, Down, out of New Orleans, with Phil Anselmo,
No, yeah.
and the guys, Time Strange. Oh my gosh, I'm going blank on the rest.
Hey
of the
man,
names.
I love Lemmy, the Motorhead. We were
Oh.
listening to that today. Hey, I played the SpongeBob SquarePants soundtrack.
Oh,
You better run, Lemmy and Motorhead,
Yeah.
man. Yeah, it's the shark. It's gonna get them. Yeah, I love
Lemmy,
it. So I like that.
yes, and also myself, a big Philly fan. And not for the reasons that people may think. Coming myself, I was more of a blues and jazz guy early on, and that's what affected me, how I play and everything. But after listening to some of the Motorhead stuff and getting to know the story behind it,
Yeah.
Lemmy is one of these guys that never gave up.
Right.
He had some changes in his lineup.
Yeah.
Up until about the last 20 years of his career,
Mm-hmm.
he just never stopped. He said, I'm moving forward.
Yeah.
You guys could either be with me or without me.
Yeah.
I'm moving forward. And he did. And he actually wrote songs for a lot of other people that some folks may not be aware of.
What do you write? What do you do?
Ozzy Osbourne being one
What do you do?
that he wrote some songs for.
Mm-hmm.
I tell you what, you'll have to ask my brother.
Oh, yeah, right.
Jason is the huge Ozzy Osbourne fan.
Well, hey, I love Black Sabbath. And that's where I'm at with the Ozzy.
Yeah.
And the Rival Sons induction of Black Sabbath.
When you play that for me,
Mama. Yeah.
when you play War Pigs,
Oh,
my gosh. And it's just a couple of minutes long. And the hair.
and it goes into paranoid. Yeah, but it's like outrageous.
It's incredible how good these guys are.
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame
It's
induction.
just ridiculous how good they are.
Totally far.
Well, look, we're coming up close to the end of our time here. Thank you so much for coming by today.
Thank you,
and
sir.
playing with us.
Yes, indeed.
I'm very excited that we get to do this again. I'm trying to not say as much. I'm a stickler about that when I hear interviews. And I've said it a good bit today myself. I do apologize. I'm trying to be.
Maybe you could throw some I don't know. I'm just saying, change it up a little bit.
Yes. Yeah. I'm trying to be much more learned in the way that I speak when we do these interviews, and we don't have those and those moments.
Yeah.
But I am incredibly thankful that we're doing this again. Our next interview is going to come up here in a couple of weeks. Actually, the persons that we're going to have with us, I had one with me in the truck yesterday. Mr. Brady Houston helped me move a couch from Slidell back to my house. He's fantastic. His dad is Monday Houston. Monday and I have played together ever since the 80s, which Jay knows. He came to see us back then. And we're going to talk about having kids who kind of follow in your footsteps.
Kids who rock.
Yes. And what is that like for you as a parent? What is it like for the kids? I know that Brady has pretty much grown up with me and Monday and Trey playing together. Brady himself, when I say he, I mean Brady, is a talented guitarist. He's a fantastic drummer. Every time he sits in with us on drums, he gets a little bit better. His timing gets better. So I'm looking forward to speaking to them about that.
That's awesome.
We're going to do the Voodoo Lounge things for right now every couple of weeks because, like I said, I'm still having some issues with work. Working a 12-hour day in 100-degree heat is a little taxing. So it's a little rough on a 58-year-old dude. I'll just leave it at that. We're going to say goodbye, get out of here. Thank you so much for joining us, for listening. If you have any questions, post them. I'm going to check on them later. Thank you so much. Thanks, Jay, for being here. Thanks to my wife, Tanya.
So
we'll see y'all later. Bye.